Welcome back everyone, I'm your manager A, and this is Lobotomy Corporation. So for those who did not see my update video, I had to restart, unfortunately, mainly because of how the requirements to start a Sephora meltdown and how the memory repositories work. I was going to run out of days before I could I would be 1 day short of actually being able to attempt the final Sephora meltdown, because I essentially have to max out Hakma's department, and then the next day would be the memory repository, and at that point you can't do a Sephora meltdown on a repository day. And then the day after that is literally in-game, and you can't do Sephora meltdowns during in-game. As I mentioned in the update video, it was really poor design that they had it this way. There's a way to get around it, but you have to know ahead of time, or pay attention. If you split your upgrades between the two departments, you can actually make it so you can pick and choose which you essentially, with the way the memory repositories work, you would then be able to rewind and do the other one. The problem was I did all of Banah's department and then started working on Hakma, and what would happen would be I would run out of days, and I'll be like, okay, and if I rolled back to the memory repository, it would still not give me enough days to actually complete it. It would be 1 day short. That's pretty much the gist of it. Honestly, the game should have just given you one extra day, kind of like how they usually give you an extra day on the end of some of these departments. But it is what it is. So I had to kind of get straight from the beginning, and you kind of have to have good stats to get through the end game and to get through Hakma's stuff as well. So that means I had to do grinding again. The way I've been doing grinding, this time around, originally what I would do is I would just hire people gradually as slots opened up and just grind them individually almost. And the way I grind is I usually pick I would essentially grind gifts, and as I finished gifts I would move them to the next one and work on different stats that way. In the early game that's very, very, very slow because Zayn ranks just do not give you enough stat points per work to actually be worthwhile. So what I did this time was I rushed to the point where I can actually get some decent abnormalities. In this case, I didn't start grinding until I got Funeral of the Dead Butterflies, which gives you a very unique gift that's for the back, and also allows you to work on Repression. Out of all the stats to spend love points on, Repression is the most expensive, so having something being able to just start on Repression work, I found to be pretty beneficial. And then the rest of them I kind of just worked on. I essentially been working on like Hay and Teth rank stuff. Generally you want to work on Hay and Wa type if possible, but obviously Wa types tend to be a little bit more dangerous. And instead of waiting until slots open up, I just spent every love point I had available in the early game to hire people. I need, I think, at least 55 people to fill in every slot in the in-game. So what I would do is I would hire a bunch of people and then just cycle people into the slots to grind them out. So for the most part, all these people have very similar gifts. Some of them are still working towards it. At this point, I'm just tired of grinding. Usually, it's generally beneficial to do the grinding now before you start getting access to things like midnight ordeals. There's a few problems, of course, of endless grinding. I mentioned this in the update video as well, is this game has a memory leak, or has memory leaks. Essentially, if you play this game for too long, it will crash. Just period. I've had it happen multiple times. I didn't have fraps open or anything like that, so there was nothing else messing with it. It's just if you play for over an hour or so, maybe an hour and a half, there's a pretty good chance the game will just shit itself and essentially fall apart, and then you lose all that progress. I've had the game, while grinding, I've had the game crash on me twice. I've also had 2 deaths. One of them I went ahead and kept. The other one, I've had 3 deaths. One of them I kept. The other one I crashed, so it got rewound. And then there's a few other deaths where I literally, I just started, which of course retrying resets my progress, and I have to keep, grinding again. So like I said, it's been a bit trying. I really like this game, but having to go through this process, when I found out I had to rewind, I was very tempted to just cheat and max out everyone's stats or something along those lines. But I'm doing this manually. As for what I'm going to be recording for now, like I mentioned before, I'm just tired of grinding, so I'm just going to go through the levels as quickly as possible, and then we'll kind of just adapt from there. As I'm going through the levels, I will be focusing on certain abnormalities to get certain gifts, and just kind of work from there. Generally, the ones I've been grinding, I usually start with Funeral of Dead Butterflies, because that one has, if you get any instinct, it will get to the point where you trigger its kill off meltdown or whatever. So you usually want to start on this one first, and then after that you can move on to either Spider Bud to get the glasses, or you can go for Little Helper to get their glasses, which is slightly better. I usually go for Scorched Girl because it was just safer, and I didn't get access to Dreaming Curtain until recently. So that's a mouth gift. Then from there I would work on a head gift. The Happy Teddy Bear is a very dangerous thing to grind. For those who don't remember the mechanic, literally if the same employee works on the Happy Teddy Bear twice in a row, they get choked to death. That's how I suffered some of my deaths, because I would lose track of who worked on what. So yeah, it's a bit annoying. And then after that, I would have them work on Child of the Galaxy. Child of the Galaxy is one of the gifts I definitely want people to get, because it has a way of restoring HP. It's kind of a unique effect to it. Down here, the hand gift is just the wrist cutter. I just went with that one because it's easy. And then down here we have La Luna for the Brooch 1 slot, which is a different slot from Brooch 2, which is here. And that's kind of been what I've been working on. I just recently got Night of Despair, but I haven't been really grinding her. Like I said, I've just been kind of focusing on trying to get people their gifts and get them some stats. So we're just going to dive into this. Originally, like I mentioned before, I would try to grind as much as possible until I get to the point where there's midnights, and then at that point I would go until I get to midnight and then leave. Prior to recording this, I started skipping out of Dusk, because Dusk was actually killing some of my characters, because my stats are just not quite as good as they should be, namely hit points. But it is what it is. So we're just going to go ahead and dive right into this and get started. So this video is probably only going to be like a day or two, and then I'll be probably going a bit faster for the rest of them. Anyway, so as always, we got to get set up. Set you down here. Yeah, there you are. And we got Sugume here. You guys over there. Here. First you can go there. You work on Instinct. Alright, let's do this. So really the main thing, the only danger here is losing track of the teddy bear. And that's about it. Like I said, I'll probably go until I get enough energy, and then I'll just move on. Which may take a variable amount of time. Give me one moment. Sorry about that. You didn't miss anything. Anyway, I just pick a different person to work on the teddy bear to ensure it swaps. Work on this. You still need the wrist cutter. Still need the brooch. I could send somebody to work on the knight. Well, actually, I can send one person to get buff. Go from there. What's your benefits? Common. Okay. So I'm gonna do this. If I get the teardrop, great, but I'm not that concerned about it. Just trying to grind stats. I'll probably dump law points into instinct and prudence. Good there. Keep checking. I shouldn't be checking the people I've been using to just help with the swapping because they already have the gears. And really, I'm not that concerned about getting the gifts themselves. It's all about just getting the stat points of working on things. That's just kind of an easy way to get working. Send you over there. Done ordeal, not a big deal. I'll be really happy when I get the last teddy bear ears. Sagume is the last person that needs it. Main stats I'm really kind of concerned about is, of course, Fortitude and Prudence. Temperance you can kind of survive without, though you generally want to have high points just so you can actually do things. And then Justice, of course, is for combat, but I don't intend on using everybody for combat. I don't have enough gear to pass around for that. I don't remember who I sent. And if I don't remember who I sent, I just grab somebody else to do it. We'll send you. That's generally what happens. You kind of just lose track, and then you either guess and hope you're not wrong, because if you're wrong, that person will die. Rest Cutter is done, actually, for you, so we will send you down here. Keep working on that. And if necessary, I can pass gear around to higher stat people. I kind of just been equipping people who actually meet the requirements. I pretty much have everyone equipped with, every LF gear has been equipped to somebody. A lot of the WA types have been equipped to somebody. Alright, you finished. Now, anyone that gets done with the brooch, from the galaxy thing, they can't actually work on anything else without taking damage and lowering the kill-off counter, so I just set them aside. Right. We're just sending you to work on Temperance. Alright, Noon Ordeal. I don't think I have anyone in actually, I do have a few people in big rooms. I'll deal with that later, though. Alright, send you there, send you there. So the reason why I have some of these groups set aside is just so they can actually be easily grabbed and used for combat. You guys are actually good. Done. Alright. And then the Noon Ordeal we need to get ready for as well. There. And we'll move you guys over. Everyone else should be out of the rooms. They are. just finished. Alright, we'll send you over next. I won't start until they're clear, though. We'll have Sukumi read the trigger. Brunch. Alright. Kill you. Kill you. Kill you. Kill you. Just go back here. For the most part, there's not really any danger of the kill-off counters being forcibly reduced. Simply because I've picked a lot of safe abnormalities that don't actually do anything. But it's still not good to let things like that happen. Alright. Get your temperance up. Oh, we're done with work. We'll do one more run. Just for the road. Yeah, I completely lost track of how much energy I've produced. I'm gonna go ahead and do the bear once, just with the action person that needs it. So let that finish up. Oh, nothing. Okay. We're complete. 29 law points, all good. Some stats. Get the next day. Alright. At this point now, Midnight should be available. Crumbling Armor, Snow White's Apple, or Delta. We'll grab our Delta. Our disciplinary team up and running. Alright, let's put out some more people. I'm looking for people with max stats. Close enough. Yeah, that works. Don't think there's anything on this. Nope. It's a head 1 gift, but I don't want it. Alright, let's dive right in. So yeah, Midnights are available now. We're not going to stay long enough for it to happen. Alright. Where are you? There you are. Set you there. Get you started. I've finished your work already. You actually have nearly max stats now. I'm just gonna go ahead and send you over and start working on that. Finish you up. Alright. Much like before, I'm just kind of getting people in position. Alright, so Red Dawn should be pretty easy. Like I said, it's not really any... It can lower the kill-off counter, but it won't really do anything in most cases. a lot of them. Why are there so many? It's all of them. Alright. We'll probably get the noon ordeal like usual, but other than that, be well done by then. Come on, teddy bear ears. Certain, yeah, it would show up. Some the only time the wrist cutter won't show up is if you have a weapon that's specifically like a glove, like the one you get from King of Greed and the ecstasy shark puppet. And there's, I think the other one is the big bad wolf's claw. So in those cases you have to actually check them manually to see if they actually got the gift or not. Nothing. Alright. And boop. Or at least the tutorial will be maxed out. Or at least maxed out until I finish Hawkman stuff, which will increase the cap again. Finish before noon comes up, actually. I'm actually okay with that. Also, since I'm rushing and not doing any actual grinding, if I do see Army of Pink, I will grab it. And then obviously do a refresh to the previous repository after that. I don't remember who did what. How about insight? Okay, insight. Okay, got the wrist cutter, that's good. Wrist cutter only gives like success rate, and warp speed, which will be useful for the end game. Oh, alright. Working on that. Alright, yep, this will finish it up. I'll do one more run of the teddy bear and then call it good. That got wrist cutter as well. almost finished. Ears. Got wrist cutter, that's good. And nothing. Alright. We're complete. Promotions, got some skill points. So it's going to be a circular container, because it's a backer. That'll be the one. The color of human heart is pink. By wearing the same color, we can blend it into the people's mind. Well, that's good. That means I'll actually have content for this week. Alright, so we'll go ahead and grab this, and we'll go through and get everything from it on the next day, and then rewind to get rid of it, because we don't want to keep it. This thing's very picky about employee death. You don't want to have employees die with this thing around. Alright. We'll put you over here. Boop, 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 boop. So it's an LF type that's disguised as a Zevran. Yep, this abnormality is made based on the idea of the tumblebug backer Moonjungo. Humanoid creatures armed with pink equipment. Its intellectual capacity allows it to verbally converse with a human being. It seems friendly, at least during the conversation. It identified itself as a special force from Redacted and uses the pronoun we when calls itself. It's continuously showing intention to help humans. Which is true, this thing can actually help the facility as well. But, yeah. They can be really, really mean, too. Alright, so we'll grab... Just trying to organize things here. Anyone that has a wrist cutter already, I'm gonna move down. Alright, so I'll go ahead and show this off and then I'll call it a video. Besides the button, this is the only other abnormality we're missing. It's not required, but I do want to do it because it's an LF type, and LF tends to have very good gear. Just real quick on the ego list. Oh, I don't have everyone equipped. Yeah, so I have some open slots, obviously. That's okay. We'll make do. Alright, hit start, and we'll just take a look at it real quick. Here it is. D01106. These numbers and like the letter actually have meaning as for like what type of abnormalities they are and things like that, which is kind of cool. But anyway, I am the Depressed Lobotomy Corporation. See you guys next time.